Hello everyone, today we're having the best homemade mac and cheese you've ever had. Let's get going. So first we have a white sharp cheddar. This will add a strong cheddar flavor. Next, we have some Parmesan to add some nutty flavors. After this, we have some Gruyere. And finally, a block of sharp yellow cheddar for color. So first, we will cut the rinds off of our cheeses. Parmesan is a pretty hard cheese, so you may find yourself struggling a little bit. Now, you can cut the rind off of your Gruyere. After a change of lighting, we're going to cut this mozzarella into some cubes. First, we're going to do some nice lateral cuts and cut our mozzarella into these nice little squares. So now we're going to place some more lateral cuts on them and turning them into these strips. So now we're going to do some more cuts after you turn those strips sideways, and you're going to reserve 1 cup of these cubes. First, we're going to grate our yellow sharp cheddar. You're going to do about 2 cups of this. It's going to give it that nice yellow color you look for in mac and cheese. Now we're going to do our white sharp cheddar. We're going to do about 1 cup of this because it is a very strong cheddar flavor. Now we're going to grate about a cup of Gruyere. Now we are going to finally grate 1 cup of Parmesan. First, heat up your pan to medium-low heat. Now add 2 tablespoons of butter and forget to add the third. Now after your butter is melted, add 2 cups of unseasoned panko breadcrumbs. Now you're going to turn your heat up to medium-high heat. Now add the third tablespoon of butter that you should have added earlier when you melted all the other butter. After your breadcrumbs become a deep golden brown, you can take them off the heat. Bring a pot to medium heat and let that heat up. Now add 2 tablespoons of butter. After you reduce your heat to medium-low, you're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter and whisk to combine. After you form a blonde roux, you're going to add about a cup of milk. Now you are going to add half of your cheese mixture that you grated earlier. Now let your cheese melt down. Now add to your yellow cheese mixture the second half of your cheese mixture, and you're going to let this melt down into your cheese sauce as well. Now, if your cheese sauce is very thick like mine, you can add some more milk to even it out. Now you're going to salt to taste. Here I used some fresh cracked sea salt. Now, you're going to boil some noodles. If your package says to cook them for 10 minutes, cook them for about 6. You're going to undercook them because they will cook in your cheese sauce in the oven. Now you're going to add a generous amount of kosher salt to your water. It should be as salty as the sea. Now, once you get a nice boil, you're going to add elbow macaroni or shells, around 2 pounds, and you're going to let that cook down. Now, in the back, you can see my cheese sauce. I added about another 1/4 cup of milk just to even it out. And if you like your cheese sauce really thick, then don't add as much milk as me. If you want it thin, add more milk. But you don't want it too thin to where it's watery, or too thick to where it's just really not that good. You want it in between to where it still coats your mouth. So now we have the 3 T's of pasta: taste, texture, and time. Now, no throwing against the wall. That means you overcooked your pasta. If If it sticks, that means it released too much starch. But first you have thyme, which if you know the time that your pasta needs to cook for, that's great. And then texture and taste go together. Does your pasta taste good? And is the texture how you want it? Is it chewy like it should be? Those are the things to ask yourself when making pasta. Now, after you've strained your pasta, you're going to add your cheese sauce to your macaroni. You can either do this while it's in the pot, or you can do it once you add your macaroni to your baking dish. It's really up to preference. I do it this way in case I decide, I don't want to make an oven-baked macaroni and cheese, and you still have an amazing macaroni and cheese right here. Now we're headed back to our counter. Here we're going to start to assemble our macaroni and cheese. We have a buttered baking dish. You could have stopped right there and had an amazing mac and cheese. It would have been beautiful. But this is an oven-baked mac and cheese. So now we're going to add our noodles and our cheese sauce mixture to our pan. This is where you could have drizzled your cheese sauce over your noodles if you wanted to do it that way. And now we are going to add our mozzarella cubes that we had earlier. This is going to add that extra cheesy thing. This is where you can add your add-ons like green chilies and bacon. That's one of my favorite mixes. So now we're going to mix this up, and feel free to add any add-ons, and then also make a mess on your countertop while mixing. And this is where you're going to add any add-ons. Tuna is really good, but my favorite is green chilies and bacon, but mozzarella cubes is also really, really good. It's one of my favorites. So now we're going to continue to mix, and we're going to get ready to add our breadcrumb topping after we smooth our macaroni and cheese out. And so that breadcrumb topping is going to add that extra crunch that you really want. It's going to add a texture layer to your already creamy, amazing mac and cheese, but you just want that texture contrast to add some extra texture. Now we're going to add those toasted breadcrumbs and do a bit better job than I did. Spread them out a bit better. I did not do that well, and it was kind of more of a clump of breadcrumbs in the middle, and that didn't turn out well, so I would suggest not doing that. So here we're going to start spreading them out, and so next time, there's one thing I would do to fix this. It would be to sprinkle them over the top instead of just pouring them all on at once, because it kind of just stuck to the top layer of macaroni and was really just not that good and didn't get an even spread. So I would suggest not doing that. Now sprinkle some extra Parmesan cheese on top. Now you're going to add some thyme for a nice color contrast against that white, brown, and yellow background with some nice green. It'll also add a little bit of flavor. Now we're going to put this in our oven that has been preheated to 350 degrees for 8 minutes. Now you're going to put that in there for those 8 minutes until the cheese starts melting and starts looking nice. So I'm really sorry for the bad camera angle right here. My tripod broke on me while filming this. We got it fixed and everything. I went and got a new tripod. But yeah, so I had to use a game box to hold it up. But so we got our plate, and the macaroni and cheese is looking amazing. And if you could hear the crunch right here, had double layers of crunch because of the breadcrumbs and the Parmesan cheese, which got really nice and crispy. And I will tell you guys, this is a 10 out of 10 would recommend. Best macaroni and cheese I've ever had. And I think the mozzarella cheese chunks just bumped it up a whole new level. It was definitely something I would add any day. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.